Hey, everybody, I'm Leon Thomas. That's Mike Weiner, the president and CEO of NRG Network Referral Group, and you're here for NRG this week. Hey, Mike, how you doing?
Oh, yeah, I am doing absolutely amazing. How are you today?
Everything is groovy. I mean, it's like beyond groovy because the Leon Thomas Group, my company, the group that produces this show, man, we have had a big week, a crazy week of doing a lot of things that are different for us. We're really happy. It's really good.
You know what? You did a great job last week, Lori Landon, with Doug Roy, the magician. He was amazing. And I know you guys produced that show, and that was just off the charts. We had a lot of NRG members there supporting a great foundation, and appreciate you, Leon, for doing that event. Doug was his magic is just it's magical. What else can I say? It's great. It's groovy. It's creative. It's
Yeah.
admirable. It's mind blowing. It's awesome.
Yeah, he's really, really good. It was a pleasure to work with him. Just just a great guy to work with. But yeah, great magic. And often, when we're in production, either I'm on screen here hosting or co-hosting, but sometimes I work behind the scenes, and that's what I did during that performance. And you get kind of captivated in what's going on, and you kind of lose sight of the buttons you're supposed to be pressing. So we had to
Exactly.
it was a fun thing. And then yesterday we produced and I hosted, moderated our first political debate, the
That's
Baltimore
awesome.
City mayoral debate.
Wow.
I was the moderator. Yeah, so it was pretty cool. And Dr. J and Oren and some of our students worked in the background. So that was all groovy. But now, Mike, let's talk about you and NRG. What's something new? What's going on? As we say hi to Mark. Hey, Mark, it's good to see you. Thanks for watching NRG this
You,
week.
you know what? Speaking of Mark Zeidelman, I found him on LinkedIn over 10 years ago, Leon, and he's been part of my Rockville, Maryland NRG group. He did my mortgage for me, giving him a shameless plug here back in 2019. And NRG's blowing up, man. I'm running 32 of these Zooms a week. I love what I do. It's all about law of attraction. We've got new members coming in left and right. You know what? It's already mid-April now. It's just time is flying in Maryland. The weather's been nice in the 80s and 70s, and it's been delightful. And I just love meeting new people. If you're out there watching this, get a hold of me. All the contact info is there. I'm well into my 24th year. I know I don't look that old, but I do turn 60 October 1st. There's not a gray hair on this hair, maybe my sideburns, but the rest of me is all good. So I'm excited, Leon. I'm always excited. We're living on the right side of the soil, and you and I have known each other for a minute and a half, right? So it's all good, man. It's all good.
Right on. Folks, if you want to get in touch with Mike, several ways to do it. You can email him. Mike's email address is mike@networkreferralgroup.com. Again, that's mike@networkreferralgroup.com. You can give him a call or a text at 443-756-9656. And to learn more about the company, you can go to their website. That's nrg.online. You can get in touch with Mike through that way. Mike, now listen, we're not supposed to talk about sports, but we're going to do it anyway. We're going to go 30 seconds on sports. Number one, we have the NFL draft coming next week, next Thursday. Jasmine Pollock will be doing her special draft show again. She's one of our team. You go to jasmineonsports.com. But Mike, your team, the team that wears black and how are they doing? How are the Orioles doing, Mike?
We need an update. Maybe Jay can get us an update because Leon, the Orioles are playing right now, and as of an hour ago, they were winning 1-0 down at Camden Yards. The Yankees are playing at 3:05 today. If the Yankees lose and the Orioles win today, it's going to be a great day in Baltimore because the Orioles will leapfrog over the Yankees in the first place. Is that
It's
amazing or what? And we got Jackson Holiday, the rookie is up. It's just good. It's just
30 seconds. 30 seconds.
that was
Now you're gonna get us in trouble. Oh,
9 seconds, nine,
you know,
8, maybe 8 on a bad hair day.
eight on a bad hair day. But I'm glad you're excited about the O's. And we have a really cool guest that I'm excited about too. Mike,
We
why don't you
do.
go ahead and introduce our guest and bring him on, and we'll talk a bit.
So I'm really excited to meet John Andrew Ellis. And I met John through Dave Romeo. And I met both of them at an event in Pennsylvania back in November 2023. So I guess it's been about 5.5, 6 months ago. And, a lot of the folks, Leon, now I'm not meeting. They're on Zoom, they're nationwide. I drove up to PA where John and Dave were having a finale for Dave. And Dave's written books. He's an eloquent speaker. And John and his wife have taken over the tradition of what Dave Romeo has done. And, NRG, we've tried to help John out as much as we can. We've partnered with John. He and his wife are an amazing couple, and they're amazing business folks. And they're doing all kinds of sales training. They're doing it live, they're doing it virtual. And I am very excited to bring onto the NRG this week stage in room number 35. I just made that up. John Andrew Ellis.
It says
We have a
room
lot of
number.
fun here, so welcome.
Oh my, what's up, John?
Well, I can't be based on my age. I'm 40, but I'll take 35. If room 35 means I go 5 years back, let's roll. Let's do it. Room 35 it is.
Room 30, room 35. I thought he was going to drop something on me like it did on the Today Show, Studio 3B or something like that. It was room 35. The last time I heard a room number like that is when the football coach tried to get me to play football in high school the first day of school, John. John, check this out. John, you've never heard this story because we just met each other like 20 minutes ago. All right. So check it out, right? I'm in high school and I'm looking for room like 35. Thanks for reminding, Mike. I'm looking for the classroom. I'm lost and the bell's rung. I'm already late for class. This guy comes up to me, puts his arm around me. He says, "Where are you going, son?" I said, "I'm looking for room 35. He said, "Come with me." He puts his arm around me, takes me down the hallway into a room. It's not room 35. It's the coach's room. The football coaches are in there. And he says, "Look what I found." Right? Big guy, right? He says, they go, "Where you been?" I go, "What do you mean?" I said, "We've been practicing for 2 weeks. I play basketball and baseball. No practice for me." "Oh, you're playing football, son. What's your name?" "Leon Thomas." "Your dad, Clinton?" "Yeah, go home. Tell your dad you're going to play football. I know your dad." We go and we buy cleats. I come back the next day. I put the uniform on. We get on the field. I'm supposed to block a guy and make a tackle. The guy about this high knocks me down on my butt. I get up off the field. I start walking off the field. You've heard people say, "Talk to the hand." I invented that because as they're yelling my name, "Get back on the field, get back on the field," I kept walking and I've never been on a football field since. So there you have it.
That's a real MVP right there, let me tell
A
you.
real MVP. John, thanks. Go ahead. What'd you say?
Stick with the baseball then, huh?
Stick with the baseball, the basketball, the bowling, and most importantly, the racquetball. You play racquetball, John?
I do not. I actually be a soccer player or a cross country runner myself. It's kind of a funny little segue because if you were to see my cross country picture, it looks like I just got out of prison because I'm built kind of like you, Leon. So I'm standing there looking like I just got out of jail next to a bunch of really skinny guys.
Yeah.
So I never played soccer in high school. I ran cross country. I probably should have just done soccer, but hindsight's 2020. But here I am today with you talking sports and professional development. So I'm glad to be on the show. And I'm looking forward to talking a little bit more about what we got going on in our partnership.
Right on. Well, John, yeah, go ahead and tell us. Well, Mike said you do some sales training, you do a little professional development. Take 45 seconds. Tell us what you do.
Sure. Well, Romeo Network, the backstory is professional development, but that comes in many forms at Romeo Network. So the first and most familiar would be our live training events, which you can find at romeonetwork.com. Our event schedule is right there under seminars. But we put on live event trainings. We also have specifically a sales academy course, a 5-week intensive course that we take business professionals through. We can do it for teams as well. And then we have the same thing in a leadership capacity. Both of them are easy to remember, a sales academy and a leadership academy. We have them available on demand at Romeo Network Online Learning, or my favorite would be to deliver it live to your business or to your team. We can either do that on site at your place of business or remote through Zoom and other platforms if that's easier for you. We provide one-on-one results coaching as well as group coaching. And that's really a high concept of what we provide is professional development in those areas.
All right. Now, when you say professional development, let's talk like sales training, for example. You
Sure.
hire contractors to come in and do the training, or are you doing the training?
I'm glad you brought that up, Leon, because it's going to be both. And I say going to be because this is new for my wife and I, the idea of having other what I call success coaches, that it is the vision for Romeo Network. So if you're watching this and you are a coach and you think, I just wish I had more material to train with, we actually do lease and develop our content alongside of other business and sales professionals. So we're collaborative, not competitive in that way. But to answer your question, absolutely, we provide this training directly ourselves, either one-on-one or in a group setting. And by the way, my favorite is in a group setting.
hmm Now, it's interesting you say that because you didn't know because we just met. I am one of the world's best trainers. And if you don't believe me, just ask me. Go ahead, ask me. Go ahead,
Yeah.
ask me.
Leon, are you one of the world's best trainers?
Well, yes, I am. Yes, yes. I worked as a trainer and manager and troubleshooter and redeveloper in the hotel industry for 35 years.
Nice.
And part of what I did was go to hotels, worked with owners and hotels that were underperforming and helped train their managers, staff, and sales folks to make things better. Also, used to go to hotels that wanted to sell, and I would get it in a position to sell, and then leave and come back and talk to Mike at NRG, and then go back on the road again. So it was a pretty pretty cool life for a while. It was a really cool thing. Yeah. So John, how did you get into all this in professional development? Which tell us some about your background. How did you get into all of this?
I'm just going to drop a name and your eyes are going to get real big, but it'll be a great segue for how I ended up where I'm at. I'm taking a gamble based on your background you just told me, but you probably know the name Patrick Lencioni. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. 5 Dysfunctions of a Team, a kingpin in the hotel industry. That's why I bring Patrick's name up. But it's one of the many different names and books that I read in my professional development path as a leadership studies major at Lancaster Bible College, which happens to
What?
be the host venue for our upcoming mega mixer coming up on May 16th. But I got a leadership studies degree from Lancaster Bible College because I needed a degree that matched my passion. I already had a biblical studies degree, literally just in biblical studies, and knew I wanted to further my education. I'm a veteran, so I had the post 9/11 GI Bill and wanted to continue to use the benefits that I had. My wife and I at the time, and we still do run this company alongside it, that I talked to you about that during the intro. We have a marketing company. I noticed working with small businesses to develop their brand, that there was a missing piece when it came to the personality and the, let's call it, interaction between team members and customers. To sum it up, as I was looking into this master's degree study, I wanted to find something that would complement the skill I had for professional development in marketing and branding, and build a bridge that helped me also help those people grow and develop alongside of the companies they were building, which led to eventually the launch of Romeo Network in January of this year for my wife and I, and previously for Dave Romeo 2 years
hmm
before he retired.
hmm Right on. You mentioned Lancaster Bible College. There, I used to attend church with a young lady who has just gotten her master's degree from there. No, not her master's. She got her undergrad from there, went somewhere else in the area, got her master's. And there are two twin brothers that played sports there. They're now college basketball coaches that I mentor, and they both went to
Okay.
Lancaster Bible. And you like the way that I say it? Notice I'm not saying Lancaster. Notice I'm saying
Yes.
Lancaster. Huh?
Got it right. Absolutely. That's how I
Yeah,
know you know. Yes.
right on. And it's really cool. You have just a varied background. So with that, all the things that you've done, I gotta believe you're very good at what you do because you bring so many perspectives to the table, right?
Correct.
You've done a lot. You gotta be a star.
Well, I served in the United States Air Force. So I should bring that up. Speaking of experience and background, I would call myself like a leadership mutt, but in a good way. I
Yeah,
mean, I've been exposed to different leadership dynamics all of my life. And it's part of what I bring to the table. So
yeah.
for 4.5 years in the United States Air Force, don't tell my leadership, but 7 out of 10 times I spent learning how not to do it. In other words, serving under someone that just was not doing a really stellar job,
Yeah.
taking notes on what
Mhm.
what should have been different. And I will tell you
Right.
one thing that I noticed about some of my favorite leaders. One of them, I was just talking about this individual yesterday on another call, an NRG call from an introduction from Mike, actually, talking to another coach. One of the things that I noticed about his name was Colonel Wegeman. He's a prior enlisted. He was the wing king over top of the whole entire base in Spangdahlem, Japan. But you know what he was? He was prior enlisted. So he had that background as an enlisted service member before becoming an officer. He would actually ask us for feedback and then make changes based on the feedback. Doesn't seem all that revolutionary, but it was for me because I found that that was rare when serving in the Air Force. And I have great respect for the service, as you could probably tell. But there's room to improve in leadership. But I think the biggest thing in leadership is looking at the feedback that you're getting from the people that you lead and being willing to make changes and adapt based on the environment you find yourself and your team in.
Mhm.
And that's
Mhm.
one of the things we're passionate about at Romeo Network.
Yeah. Yeah. I have to connect you to some folks in the hotel business, John, because what you just shared there was something that many hoteliers don't do. They will ask for feedback and will not make adjustments or changes based on the feedback. Instead, they put the dukes up and start fighting and try to explain this is why we're doing what we're doing. If you don't like it, and they start jabbing you away, and
Right.
then they put signs up in the back, those supposedly motivational signs. And one of them says, think outside the box. And I got fired once because the sign said, think outside the box. And I put a little disclaimer under it, as long as it's thinking into your box.
Oh my.
Yeah, okay, I'll tell you about the other time I got fired. The general manager, just when I was growing up in this business, this guy put a note up that says, "You're not allowed to eat breakfast. You can't have a cup of coffee. You can't have a bagel. You can't have this. You can't have that. Don't eat anything." I thought it was a joke. The guy's last name was Danish, so I wrote on there, "This must be a joke written by some guy named Danish." So got canned there too. But anyway, enough about my storied background. How did you meet Mike Weiner?
I met Mike through some clients of Romeo Network, actually. And I don't remember which. It's kind of a 1-2 punch for me because they're both super great guys, both wonderful clients of mine. That would be Rich Pavlik of Blind Bean Roasters. You can send me a check later, Rich, for mentioning that. Or there's Ray Fitzgerald of Greatest Hits websites and online reputation lab. I believe it was Rich Pavlik. But he said to me, he said on the phone, I think it was a phone call, I got this networking group that you should check out. Let me send an email and introduce you to Mike Weiner. And I've got to be honest, at the time, I thought, oh, great. I do not have time for another networking group. This is not something I can really commit to. But guess what? We spent 3 solid years teaching Rich about the benefit of follow-up. So that's exactly what he did. A couple of weeks later, hey, did you get my invitation to NRG yet? Are you going to get on a call? So finally, eventually, word got to Dave about NRG as well. again through Rich's persistence. And then that led to Dave and I mid-August jumping on a call. I believe it was on a Monday morning at 10, if my memory serves me correctly. Mike, you could probably tell us which group that is. It was on a Monday morning, and next thing I knew, 3 weeks later, I was joining NRG, and my phone blew up a couple of days later, and the rest is history. 8 months later, it's been a great thing to be a part of. I love the diversity of people and connections that you can develop. And like Mike says, sometimes you got to dig. If you're on a fit call with someone, you really have to work to find out where that fit lies and be willing to follow it through. But it can really pay dividends in the long run if you continue to follow it through and be persistent.
Right on. I agree. So here's what we'll do. We'll bring Mike into the conversation now. I'm going to back out. You guys go ahead and chat away. I'll join you in like 5 or 6 minutes or so. You guys go ahead and talk, but please be warned, John, you are talking to the world's #1 Oriole fan when it comes to Mike Weiner. You guys have a great conversation. I'll come back shortly.
Met with you and Dave, jumped on New York City. It was a Friday morning, and I remember I was impressed with both of you. And within the next week or two, you guys joined. It was Rich and it was Ray who originally connected, and then you and Dave. I remember Dave in his, he always wore that blue suit and the white shirt and the red tie, and you guys jumped on. And I remember watching both of you, and you guys seemed very intrigued with what we were doing because we did 3 referrals on the spot, and then once you joined, I blew your phone up with 23. And you're right, sometimes you got to dig, but I'm excited to have you on today. I have a couple quick questions for you, and
Sure.
in a minute or two, what is, in your opinion, the hottest topic that you're teaching right now? Is it prospecting? Is it follow-up? Is it networking? Is it closing the sale? What do you think really is really super hot out there? And this is going to be on the YouTube channel. We're going to put all our Facebook, LinkedIn. So someone may call you, John, in a week, a month, a year, 5 years, 10 years, whatever, but it's there long term. But what's really hot right now for you guys in doing training, sales training?
I would say one of my favorite things right now that's going to be the most persistent because it works while we sleep is our Romeo Network online learning platform. Not only is it a great place to discover who we are and what we do and get familiar with our content, it's also a great place to discover the other things that we offer as well, which I've already mentioned, like our live events, coaching, and that sort of thing. In particular, I'm going to bring up one of my favorite series is, and we have 13 different categories that we speak on, which I won't get into here for the sake of time, but you can find it again on our online learning platform, which is available at romeonetwork.com. You just look for the link to the online platform and you can get to it there. But it would be our networking and marketing mastery series. I'm in several different groups, NRG being one of them. And one of the things I hear people asking about the most is how they can turn their professional networking efforts into a more reliable revenue stream. And we have a several part series that talks about exactly that. Again, it's available at Romeo Network Online Learning. So even if you're not free Thursday mornings when we usually do our live events, you can find that and other content anytime you like, 24/7 at Romeo Network Online Learning.
Awesome. Appreciate it, John. Thank you. So, between Dave and you guys have been doing this for quite a while. What's one success story, without mentioning the person's name, that you could give us, like, as far as, I'm big in the numbers, and that's why I like MLB Network. You help the company or an individual grow 50%, 100%, 200%. You help double their client base. What's an example of someone that with Romeo Network, between you and Dave, give us a success story? I know you, Leon, and I were talking about that before the show started. What's a good success, without mentioning their name, of someone that you helped out statistically, whether it was doubling their volume or revenue or tripling their income or something like that for our viewing audience?
Well, I'm not going to mention any names, I promise. Although I might have discussed some of them already in this call, perhaps. I don't know. One coffee company in particular didn't even exist before we met this individual. I've only known this gentleman for 4 years myself, met him about 6 months after I met Dave. In fact, we had the Sales Academy course together. That's how I originally started working with this individual to help them put together their distribution website, selling custom curated coffee, you could call it, like boutique coffee. Started out as a small sideline hobby, and now it's grown to be so successful. It's not too far away from being able to bring this gentleman's wife home, and she's a 30-year plus, not a nurse. I believe she's a nurse's assistant, but quite a bit of experience, but not a lot of time to go around. So this gentleman's wife, in other words, is very sought after at the hospital, so much that vacations can be tough. So it's been a goal for this individual to be able to bring his wife home. And through one of our seminars called Automatic Money Machines, how to create your own automatic money machine, this gentleman got the idea to launch a coffee company. That was about 3 years ago. And now he ships nationwide. He's had several coaching sessions with Dave and lots of feedback from myself. Fantastic individual as well. That's just one example for the sake of time, but we also have a great section on our website of more testimonials if you want to check those out.
Awesome. I've got one more question for you, business, and then one more for NRG. When a lot of new folks join, I recommend them connect with you. I do a 3-way intro. When someone reaches out to John Ellis, and now I'm talking more about you.
Sure.
What do they get when they call out to you? Because there's lots of companies that do what you and I do, but there's only one John Ellis. There's only one Michael Weiner. What do they get? Take a minute or two. They call you and they go, "Hey, Mike Weiner recommended we talk. He says you're great. Why should I work with you? Why should I buy from you? Why should I take advice and grow my business?" What do they get with John Ellis?
Well, they get someone that's obsessed with problem solving. And to expand that a little bit more, if you happen to receive our weekly blog, which I'll throw in a quick plug for that, it's on the bottom right of our website. If you want to get it, it comes out Tuesday mornings at 9 a.m. But that is still written by Dave because he doesn't know how to retire. It's called the Encourager in Chief Weekly Blog. However, my title happens to be Problem Solver in Chief, and I actually borrowed that from one of Dave's favorite ways to describe me, which is that I am a professional and prolific problem solver. You bring me a problem or an issue that you're experiencing in business, I will not rest until we have that thing ironed out. It might take seconds. It might take years. Not all problems are created equally. They come in different shapes and sizes, but it's my passion to help small to medium-sized business owners solve the problems that they have, which usually stem from one of two areas. It's either not great marketing or customer experience, like on somebody's website, for example, or it's on the other side of things and can be solved through professional development. But I'm obsessed with both more than most people. And that's what you'll get with me, is someone who is just really, really committed and passionate about helping you grow and develop professionally and personally.
Awesome. Appreciate it. One last question, then we'll bring Leon back on. As far as NRG, you've been with me, time flies. What would you say to someone that's out there, they've not had a good experience with a networking group, or they're not even aware of a networking group? What would you say as far as NRG? What are some of the benefits, maybe 2 or 3, take 2 minutes, that would really benefit a new company coming into NRG, or a company that's established and wants to grow? What are some of the benefits you've seen for NRG for John Ellis and your organization, Romeo Network?
Sure. I'll highlight one thing that most of our customers are looking for. That's probably not the best reason to come to NRG. It's called WIFM. You probably have heard of it. What's in it for me? Every time we serve a customer, we do have to have what's in it for them in mind. But why do I bring it up in reference to NRG? Because we really need to flip it. One of my favorite books, it's called The Go-Giver. It's about giving away in order to get, putting other people before yourself. And I think that's probably one of the things I see most often unfolding at an NRG meeting. And it really, I think, is true. He or she who gives the most wins, not only in terms of just your bank account and the number of clients you can get from NRG, but the number of relationships and connections that you can build. And I would say it's a quality over quantity scenario with NRG as well. There may be over 100 members, but typically you'll find you build about 5 or 6 really close relationships that turn into power partners and enduring friendships. That's what I've experienced so far. The more you give,
I appreciate it, John. So now it's been a lot of fun working with you. We're going to bring Leon back in, and it's kind of cool. We've met live. We've talked over bread together and pizza and things like that. And excited to have you here today. I'm going to turn it back over to my other Baltimore Oriole big fan, Leon Thomas.
Hey, thank you, Mike, John. Great listening to y'all communicate, and I hope everyone gets in touch with you, John, and goes to your website and checks things out. At least gets the blog, but everybody, it sounds like you have so many things that you could offer, so many folks to help them grow their business and improve professionally. So I
yes,
hope everybody gets in touch with you. We have your website there, and I think we also have your email address that our producers will go ahead and display also. And when you talk to John, make sure you drop this line on him. Say, I learned about you on NRG this week. And then, John, you let us know. And then on the next NRG this week, you watch it and put in the comments and say, hey, Leon and Mike, I got 500 new clients as a result of being on NRG this week. And then Mike and I say, is that all? Only 500? Right. And we keep that going. I have an announcement to make. Our producer, Dr. Jay Rasenko, has told me as of 7 minutes ago. I know we don't play time games in baseball, but it was 7 minutes ago that I found out the score of the Oriole game is 2-2.
2-2.
2-2. 2-2.
Okay.
That's what the word is. You ask for the score, we provide.
It's a pitcher's battle. It's a pitcher's duel down at Camden Yards today.
There we go. Folks, I want to encourage you to make sure you contact John at Romeo Network. Please give him a holler. Let him know you heard about him through NRG this week. John, thanks for being with us on NRG this week.
Thank you, John.
And folks, you can watch NRG this week every Wednesday at 3:00 Eastern. But if you don't watch the show live, that's okay, because it's on the YouTube and the link always works. So you can go there and check it out. You can also, Mike, you know this, John, you don't. This is a new one. NRG this week is on the Leon Thomas Group Network, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, internet radio. It's there. NRG this week will be on every week. And so I want to encourage you there that if you don't get a chance to watch it, you can listen. So there's always a way to check out what's going on NRG this week. All right. Mike Weiner, one final thought, one final question. Will you join Jasmine for her football draft special next Thursday? Will you be there? Will you come on and talk about the Ravens?
I'd love to come on. When is it going to be? What date and time? Thursday?
That's next Thursday, the 20-somebody. That would be the 25th.
What time?
We'll send you a time. We'll
send me a link. I'll be there.
Jasmine, get in touch. We'd love for you to be there.
Yeah.
John, you a football fan?
I happen to be an Eagles fan. Sorry, guys.
Okay.
And it's been nice having John on the show. And maybe we bring you on to talk about the Eagles.
John, did you say Ravens? Did you say Ravens? That's how you'll know you'll stay here, and Leon won't hit the eject button, and you're gone. You're gone.
Yeah, we'll have
a Phillies fan then too. I bet, huh?
You know, all of those actually are okay. All of those are okay, John. As long as you don't say that nasty P word, everything else is okay. Do you know what the nasty P word is?
Is it Pittsburgh Steelers? because
going head to head with our producer, Dr. J. Yeah. Boom, 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 boom. Knocked him out. He's so shook up, he can't even turn his microphone on right now. Hey. You got him, John. Pow, pow, pow.
And we have better cheesesteaks than you guys do.
I don't know. Cheesesteaks pretty good.
And, John, I'll have Jasmine Pollock get in touch with you. Come on, talk about the Eagles a couple of minutes next Thursday.
Sounds like a plan.
Be great to have you doing it. Folks, we have a lot of fun here on NRG this week. If you want to be a guest on NRG this week, contact Mike. Mike at networkreferralgroup.com is his email address. I'm Leon. He's Mike. Our guest today has been John Ellis. It's time to go. Thanks for watching NRG this week. Take care, everybody. Thanks for watching.